So you want to own a logistics company. Buy some trucks, hire some drivers, move stuff from point A to point B, collect the money. Sounds simple. Everyone needs stuff moved. It is not simple. The global logistics market is projected to reach $18 trillion by 2030. And yet 80 to 90% of new owner-operators fail within the first year. Over 95% don't make it past 5 years. More than 88,000 trucking authorities were revoked or surrendered in a single recent year. 10,000 carriers closed their doors in the first half of 2024 alone. Demand was never the problem. The economics were. The logistics business isn't about moving freight. It's about managing a brutal combination of razor-thin margins, punishing fixed costs, volatile fuel prices, driver shortages, and the cruel asymmetry that revenue is easy to grow and profit is easy to lose. So you want to own a logistics company. Here's what they don't tell you. Most people think a logistics company is simple. Buy trucks, move freight, collect money. Here's the reality. In 2025, the average cost to operate a single truck hit a record $2.33 per mile. That's up 3.4% from the previous year. Non-fuel costs alone were $1 at $85 per mile, up 4.2%. A truck driving 100,000 miles costs roughly $233,000 to operate, just to run, before you make a single dollar of profit. That cost includes fuel, driver wages, equipment payments, insurance, maintenance, tires, tolls, permits, compliance, depreciation, financing. A new Class 8 tractor costs $120,000. A dry van trailer adds $40,000 to $70,000. Total per truck, $160,000 to $290,000 before you move a single pallet. A 50-truck fleet requires $8 million to $15 million in capital. And here's the part that stings. Your costs are fixed every single day. Your revenue is not. You can do everything right and still lose money for 3 straight years. So, you still want one? Now let me tell you about the economics of a single truck. A shipper pays a carrier per mile. In 2024-2025, a typical dry van load on the national spot market paid between $2.20 and $2.50 per mile. Multiply it by 120,000 miles per year. That's $264,000 to $300,000 in gross revenue per truck. Subtract $291,000 in costs. You are left with $9,000, not per month, $9,000 for the entire year. That's a net margin of roughly 3%, and that's assuming everything goes right. No major breakdowns, no months without freight, no accidents. No surprise insurance increases. The average trucking company operating margin in 2024 was 2.8%. That's thinner than a grocery store, thinner than almost any industry you can name. And yet, the freight rate isn't the only number that matters. The empty mile is, in 2024, the trucking industry average for empty miles rose to 16.7%, meaning for every 100 miles a truck drove, nearly 17 of them were driven hauling nothing at all. Empty miles cost the industry over $100 billion annually. Here's how that plays out. A load paying $2.60 per mile for 1,000 miles from Chicago to Atlanta looks good. That's $2,600. But if your truck is currently in Memphis, getting to Chicago requires 200 miles of deadhead driving, fuel, driver time, wear on equipment, all with zero cargo revenue. Your true yield, 2,600 divided by 1,200 total miles driven, equals $2.17 per mile. With an average operating cost of $2.26 per mile, that load doesn't just fail to make money. It cost you $112 to haul it, the silent killer of profitability. So you still want one? Now let me tell you about the companies that succeed, because the difference is stark. Look at 3 public carriers. Old Dominion Freight Line had an operating ratio of 75.2% in 2025. That means for every $100 in revenue, they spent $75.20 on operating expenses. They kept $24.80 as operating income. Excellent. Knight Swift had an operating ratio of roughly 96.6% in the same period. For every $100 in revenue, they spent 96.60 cents a day. They kept $3.40. Werner Enterprises had an operating ratio of 99.6% for 2025. For every $100 in revenue, they spent 99.60 cents a day. They kept 40 cents. Same industry. Completely different outcomes. The difference is network density, pricing, utilization, freight mix, labor, equipment, customer contracts, empty miles, technology, and scale. The logistics business isn't won by revenue, it's won by operating efficiency. So you still want one? Now let me tell you about the hidden revenue most operators never collect: accessorial charges. According to the American Transportation Research Institute, 94.5% of fleets charge detention fees, but they collect on fewer than 50% of the invoices they submit. Detention occurs when a driver waits more than 2 hours at a loading or unloading dock. The industry average is 9.9% of stops. Exceed that free time, drivers are detained 117 to 29 hours per year. At $63 per hour, that's $7,371 to $13,116,000 in lost revenue per driver per year. For a 30-truck fleet, that's $221,000 to $395,000 in lost productivity. The total direct expense from uncompensated detention in 2023 was $3.6 billion, plus another $11.5 billion in lost driver productivity. Here's the breakdown for a 30-truck fleet. Detention invoices annually, $204,000. Collected less than half. Lost, $102,000. Truck order not used fees, $20,800 annually. Collected, roughly 40%. Lost, $12,480. Lumper fees. Driver pays out of pocket to have someone unload the trailer, $9,300 per week. $483,600 annually. 20 to 25% never reimbursed. Lost, $97,500 to $121,875. Total uncollected accessorial revenue, $212,000 to $236,000 per year for one fleet. This is revenue already earned, just not collected. The fix is simple. ELD integration with automatic detention tracking. Photo documentation at every stop. Automated invoicing within 24 hours. Persistent collections. This alone can add $200,000 to a 30-truck fleet's bottom line. So, you still want one? Now let me tell you about the freight factoring trap. A shipper does not pay you the moment your truck delivers a load. Payment terms are typically 30 to 60 days after delivery. But your fuel bill is due now. Your driver's paycheck is due every week. Your loan payment is due every month. The gap between delivering a load and receiving payment is a cash flow crisis waiting to happen. So carriers factor their invoices. They sell the invoice to a factoring company for 95 to 97% of its value. They get paid within 24 hours. The published factoring rate in Q2 2026 was 2.8%, but the real cost is higher. Setup fees, monthly minimums, per invoice fees, ACH fees, early termination fees. On a $10,000 invoice at 3%, you receive $9,693.50. Effective cost, 3.07%. For a 30-truck fleet with $3 million in annual revenue, factoring fees cost $90,000 per year. If you could collect in 30 days without factoring, you'd save $90,000. But without factoring, you'd run out of cash and go bankrupt. Factoring is expensive insurance against cash flow death, so you still want one. Now let me tell you about the insurance crisis. Commercial auto liability insurance for trucking hit a record 10.5 cents per mile in 2024. For small fleets, insurance premiums have risen 47% since 2010. The reason is what lawyers call nuclear verdicts, jury awards and personal injury lawsuits against commercial truck companies that exceed $10 million. The average value of nuclear verdicts jumped from $21 million in 2020 to $51 million in 2024. In 2024, there were 135 of these verdicts, totaling $31.31. Collectively, insurers have responded by exiting the market. The remaining insurers price their premiums for catastrophic risk. For a carrier with any blemish on their safety record, a single speeding violation, a logbook error, a minor accident that was not their fault, premiums jump sharply. One serious accident can make a small carrier effectively uninsurable. Uninsurable means illegal to operate. Illegal means business over. Fleet insurance costs range from $200 to $1,500 per vehicle per month. For a 20-truck fleet, that's $4,000 to $30,000 per month, $48,000 to $360,000 per year. One bad accident can wipe out a year of profit. So you still want one? Now let me tell you about the most dramatic collapse in trucking history. Yellow Corporation. Yellow was a nearly 100-year-old company, one of the largest less-than-truckload carriers in America. At its peak, a $5 billion company, 30,000 employees, 22,000 union members, 12,000 trucks, 35,000 trailers. In 2020, at the height of the pandemic, the Trump administration gave Yellow a $700 million loan under a CARES Act provision meant for companies critical to national security. The Defense Department itself had raised objections. A congressional watchdog later concluded that the Treasury and Defense Departments made missteps in the decision and warned that Yellow's precarious financial position exposed taxpayers to significant risk. By summer 2023, Yellow had accumulated roughly $1.5 billion in total debt. After a months-long standoff with the Teamsters Union over a restructuring plan, and after failing to make a required $50 million payment to a pension fund, Yellow ceased operations on July 30 of 2023. It filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy on August 6, 2023. 30,000 people lost their jobs. The bitter coda: Yellow's bankruptcy estate sold most of its shipping terminals and real estate for nearly $1.9 billion. By February 2024, the company had fully repaid the $700 million federal loan, plus over $151 million in interest. The taxpayer was made whole. But the Teamsters Union noted that union workers had given up $5 billion in wage and pension concessions over more than a decade to keep the company alive, only to watch Yellow's executives award themselves millions of dollars in bonuses on the way out. The lesson is simple. Trucking is a business with fixed costs and variable revenue. When the gap between the two stays negative long enough, no amount of history or experience saves you. So you still want one? Now let me tell you about the Amazon DSP program, because this is a live, breaking story. In 2018, Amazon launched the Delivery Service Partner Program. It recruits people to start their own small businesses to deliver Amazon packages. Each DSP is a separate LLC or corporation. Amazon supplies the packages, sets the delivery routes, provides the branded vans, uniforms, and software. The DSP owner hires drivers and manages the operation. The program now includes roughly 4,500 small business owners employing approximately 390,000 drivers across 19 countries. On August 4, 2026, New Jersey's Attorney General sued Amazon. It was the first ever state monopsony conduct complaint of its kind in U.S. history. A monopsony is the buy-side mirror of a monopoly. Instead of being the dominant seller, Amazon is alleged to be the dominant buyer of DSP delivery driver, labor giving it outsized power to dictate pay and conditions. The lawsuit alleges Amazon prevents DSP drivers from unionizing, uses AI in-vehicle cameras and drone surveillance to monitor drivers, and uses no-poach agreements that bar different DSPs from hiring each other's drivers. Despite marketing DSPs as independent businesses, Amazon actually controls nearly every operationally important lever. DSP owners are effectively unable to compete for drivers by offering higher pay or better conditions. Amazon's response: DSPs are independent business owners who make their own decisions about hiring, fleet management, and capacity planning, and they choose whether to work with other companies besides Amazon. The DSP pitch: $10,000 startup cost, $1 million to $4.5 million in annual revenue, $75,000 to $300,000 in annual profit, 7 to 10% net margins. Built-in demand, no sales needed. The reality: driver turnover is over 100% annually. The first 90 days require 10 to 12-hour days, 7 days a week. Amazon's Fantastic Plus scorecard controls everything. One drop in score means contract review, action plans, termination risk. You are not an entrepreneur. You are a contractor with Amazon as your only client. It's a job disguised as a business. So, you still want one? Now let me take you international, because the economics look different depending on where you live. In Australia, the logistics market is worth $163.6 billion. Vast distances, limited rail outside the East Coast, and strong mining and agricultural exports mean premium rates for remote deliveries. Mining and agricultural logistics pay premium rates due to remoteness. In Canada, the market is $111.66 billion. Road freight accounts for 60.97% of revenue. Winter operations add 15 to 25% to maintenance costs. Cross-border logistics between the US and Canada is a $94.2 billion per month corridor. Specialists command premium rates. In the UK, the freight and logistics market is over $25.3 billion BU. ULEs in London is driving the EV transition. Post-Brexit customs complexity means companies that can handle it charge 20 to 30% premiums. The UK has the most developed 3PL market in Europe. The point is simple: logistics businesses work differently in different countries, and most YouTube videos never tell you this. So, you still want one? Now let me tell you about the future. Because logistics is becoming a software business, C.H. Robinson used AI to automate quoting, scheduling, tracking, and operations. Reuters reported that AI-driven efficiency helped reduce operating expenses by 12.6% and headcount by 10.8%, while the company improved profitability. Project 44 is marketing AI agents that can handle supply chain workflows like carrier outreach and exception resolution. The question is no longer whether AI will change logistics, it's how fast. If one broker can manage the work that previously required 10 people, logistics becomes a software business. The winners will be the companies that adopt AI first. Here's the truth: this entire industry is quietly built on. A logistics company is a machine for turning transportation capacity into cash. Its profit depends on how efficiently it manages time, distance, capacity, information, and working capital. You can generate $100 million in logistics revenue and still have a terrible business, because revenue is just the top line. The real product is the spread between what the customer pays and what it costs you to make the freight move. The companies that survive aren't always the biggest, the smartest, or the ones with the best trucks. The winners are usually the ones that manage cash flow, collections, technology, and operational discipline better than everyone else. The biggest lie in the logistics business is that you're moving freight. You're not. You're managing billions of dollars of assets and hoping they earn cash faster than they lose value. The truck is the delivery mechanism. The economics are the real product. That's the real business.